Jennifer Puckett. I'm the Director of Northeast State at Johnson City.
I'm Denise Walker. I'm the Director of Student Services and I'm a licensed counselor.
And I'm Jim Hendricks. I'm Director of Student Services at Johnson City and Adult Recruiter.
And I appreciate you giving us a tour of Northeast State at Johnson City. Thank you very much. And Jennifer, would you help begin the tour?
Of course. First, right beside our front doors in the lobby is our police station. We have 2 armed police officers that are here, one in the morning to unlock the facility and work day shift, one in the evening that works evening shift and locks the facility. This is Kelvin Kimbler. He's typically our evening officer. They do rounds throughout the facility. They do rounds in the parking garage, and they also tour the perimeter of the facility to make sure our students are safe. And then while they're at the desk, they also watch our security cameras for us.
Okay, so this is the primary way that you make sure that your campus is secure?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Next up is our testing center right down the hall.
Hi, so I'll show you our testing center. We have a proctor station right here that checks in. The students check in. They have lockers. And then you can see we come in here. We have a proctor who works between Kingsport and Johnson City. If you want to come on in, you can see the room. We are scheduled the AccuPlace replacement test. We do the exit exam here. We do the work keys, and we do the HISET, the GED testing in here. That's on a scheduled basis every month. We also have Jim Hendricks, who is stationed here at the campus now, and he can also help do AccuPlacer. A lot of times what was happening, a student came in, they needed to meet with an advisor right away, and we could not get down here, and they could not get to us. So Jim now is able to do that. He's been certified as an AccuPlacer.
Wonderful.
Proctor.
And then you said that the proctor can sit in here and
The proctor can sit here, she can monitor all the computers.
Wonderful.
It's quiet and it's nice. It's a nice environment.
Okay. Thank you very much.
We have a charging station our students can use. Their locker system, so they can put in their code and lock it. And then we have an informational kiosk, so that's unlocked. It's not user password protected. They can go online and they can get any information that they need for a service for Northeast State.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Let's go down this first hallway. This is an example of one of our computerized classrooms. We have 3 on the Johnson City campus. Typically, they seat 24 students. During the pandemic, it seats 12. And so you'll see there are 24 computers in here. Across the campus, we have 138 and 32 laptops. On this side of the room, we have an instructional card for our instructors that's tied to an LCD monitor. And then there are also microphones in the ceiling where they can record their lectures.
Thank you.
This is an example of our ITV room. We have 2 on our campus, both up front in our facility. It has the same setup as the other classrooms, except for additional equipment of a smart board, microphones, and cameras. Typically Kingsport and Elizabethton.
And the 2 screens at the front, at the top, is that to connect so they can see the students at the other sites?
Typically that was for the instructors so they could see their material while they were lecturing.
Okay. All right. And talk with me about the technology planning process. I know ITV equipment, et cetera, can be expensive. So how do you ensure that your technology stays up to date?
Every year we do strategic planning, and a component of that is technology planning. The directors of every campus works with Office of Information Technology to ensure that we have our needs met for our students here, and then OIT also makes sure that they evaluate the technology needs on every campus on a continuous basis.
Is it a part of the regular process that all campuses go through, or do you go
Correct.
through a different one?
It's the same no matter which campus you're located on.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Computerized classroom. Our second ITV room. And this is an example of one of our lecture rooms.
So even in your lecture rooms, you still have the instructor stations?
Correct.
Technology? Thank you. Tell me about the front area.
So our front area, our student workers staff the front desk. That's for anyone who has a question, if it's students, faculty, staff, or anyone that comes in as a visitor to our campus and they have questions.
Okay. Now, you say you've got a student worker, do then they get the right, do they get the right personnel then to help with those questions?
They do.
Okay,
And then at this station, we have our business office. Our physical services coordinator handles taking all forms of payments on the campus.
and all forms of payment, does that include cash?
It does.
And how do you secure your cash payments?
If it's something that's held overnight, they secure it in the vault, which is on the back wall through the office
Okay.
right there. But if not, then that's something that our police officers will pick up and take over.
And the proximity of the police officers where they normally sit, where do they sit as compared to?
Our business office is here, and our police office is here, just a couple windows apart.
Okay, all right, thank you very much.
Next up will be our administrative office area. So when students come off the elevator, that can be one of their first stops if they have questions. So inside this area, the director's office is here. We have an administrative assistant's office right there. We have a faculty workroom and faculty offices.
Okay, thank you. And tell me a little bit more about the administrative and staff positions that are domiciled at this campus. Who's domiciled here?
We have the director of Northeast State at Johnson City, the administrative assistant for multi-campus programs, the director of student services. There's a paraprofessional in adult education, part-time IT staff, 2 full-time police officers, and then 2 individuals do our evening coordinator position.
Are these individuals supported by other Northeast State personnel that come to this campus periodically?
They are.
And what positions for that? For example, student services and academic support. What is their schedule?
I can answer that in that, in the student services, we have regularly scheduled appointments when we come here. Pre-COVID, we all came on rotating basis. We had that planned out. Advising is here probably every week. They were always here, especially during peak time. I know career services had a regular schedule. Student life planned activities regularly. I work with counseling and accessibility services. And having a set schedule didn't always work as well for us, so we always came as students needed. At the same time, I would always go to the college freshman classes to talk about health and wellness. I know advisors would go to those classes. So we try to have our presence here as much as possible on the campus.
What about during the pandemic? How has that changed? Do you still support the services and students here? And
Certainly.
how you do that?
Certainly. Advising, I know they've put out a Zoom schedule when they're going to be available. I know the career service has done that. I'm just trying to promote counseling through the website, social media. The faculty have always been made to referrals for counseling and accessibility services. So we are doing Zoom meetings. We still will come here too if
Okay.
needed.
Good, that was my next question, and I would assume that.
So we always will come, yeah. I know the accessibility services coordinator has come and already met with students here for needs
Okay.
assessment. And if I have a counseling appointment, you know, that's been in my office right over there. So we've kind of been at home here too.
And a perfect example of that, we had a student who had a counseling need this morning. And we
Okay.
received that via email, so we forwarded that immediately to Denise, and she was able to reach out to us.
Yeah, and I reached out to the student already. So we all have a really good working relationship with our students.
What are some of the primary student support or academic support services that do rotate here? And Denise, you might want to be able to answer that. Jim, Jennifer?
Well, the Advising Resource Center,
Mm-hmm.
we talk about the librarian. I think we're going to be visiting them and
Okay.
talking about their, and then the tutoring. And I know that there's always had set tutoring here for our students like the other campus, but everything has moved online right
Mhm.
now because of the COVID.
But pre-COVID, financial aid, would they
Yes.
have a presence here in other areas?
Yes, I have a part-time, well, she's full-time, she splits her time between the Elizabethan and the Johnson City campus,
Right,
and she is here on Wednesdays and Thursdays.
okay.
And she can help students with a lot of financial aid questions and needs. I have been trained to help students with the FAFSA, now that the FAFSA is open.
Okay,
I'll be doing more of that.
all right. And other areas, veterans, military, families?
Well, we're going to get to
do
see
they?
that, but they have
Okay.
a wonderful center here that they created, and they have a rotating where they come and meet with students, and then I know Jennifer's going to show us their center that's available for students, and then veterans and their families,
Okay,
the veteran students. And they have a schedule where they also come and meet.
okay. Honors? Do
We
they-
don't have scheduled honors classes here on this campus, but students are able to enroll in honors courses that are available on other campuses or online.
Okay, all right. So my understanding is that you have some that are permanently placed here.
Correct.
You have some that come on a rotating basis. How do you schedule, does each area just schedule their own? And how do they make sure there's not overlap or everybody's coming at the same time?
So typically they'll send us their schedule the semester before, and our administrative assistant located on the campus will schedule them in an office.
Mm-hmm.
And then we put out a monthly calendar to students so they see when every single office will be here.
Okay.
Well, I can also say that mine are usually as needed right away. So I have called many times and said, I need to meet with a student today, and they've always found me an office to meet with a student. So they're very flexible in accommodating us when we need to meet with students.
And all offices have a presence online as well, is that correct?
We all do. We all have a website, I mean, an email like counseling at Northeast State, advising at Northeast State, testing at Northeast State.
Right.
So students can access there. We have our web pages, and we also promote through the college website and social media.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll continue the tour.
We'll head down this hallway into our faculty area.
Let's talk about your faculty that teach here. Do you have full-time and part-time faculty that teach here? And what's the total number, and is that different pre and post, or pre-COVID and during COVID?
So yes, we have full-time and part-time faculty that teach here. This semester we have a total of 20 faculty members. 4 are full-time, 16 are part-time, and the numbers are a little different than they were before the pandemic.
Okay, so you would have more prior to the pandemic?
We would have more faculty prior to the pandemic.
Okay, all right. And do you have any full-time faculty members that are permanently domiciled at this campus?
We do not.
Okay, but I do notice, for example, Dr. Nathan Weber, he's a full-time faculty member.
Correct.
So he teaches here, and he has an office here,
Correct.
but he also teaches at the main campus, is that correct, or at other locations?
Correct.
Okay, all right, thank you. And how do you ensure that the number of full-time faculty members is adequate for this facility? How do you know that?
So our academic deans evaluate all assigned faculty members for every campus, not just Johnson City, and they do that on a continuous basis.
Okay, thank you. One other question about faculty members and their qualifications. Describe the process for justifying and documenting the qualifications for faculty. Do you do that? Is that done at the main campus?
That is not something I do. Directors of a campus site are not responsible for that. That's something that's handled through academic affairs.
Okay, thank you. So it's the same process and qualifications are necessary to teach at this site as compared to the main campus?
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
We'll head on around. We'll go into our faculty workroom. This is our faculty workroom. They're able to work at our computer stations. We are socially distanced. There's a break room right here, and then our mail and copy room is inside here.
And do you get your mail from the main campus?
We do,
Okay, and how often does it come?
twice a week.
And do you have opportunities to say it's not the day of the week and you need something? Do you have opportunities to get the mail otherwise?
We do.
Okay. Would somebody just run that down then, or?
They would.
Okay. Going back to faculty, let's talk about students, and do they have an opportunity to evaluate faculty at this site?
They do have that opportunity.
And how do they do that?
They are given evaluation forms, and that's closer toward the end of the semester.
And those evaluation forms, are they the same as at the main campus? Is it different?
They're exactly the same.
Okay. And so when you see those results, who sees those results and how are those results used?
Those results go through academic affairs. The academic deans will see those.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We'll head on. This is our open courtyard space. Previously, we didn't have anything out in the hallway. We wanted to increase engagement and a social life presence out there. Our students study, and they're able to spend time together and have a higher increased rate of engagement.
Wonderful. So I see the bottom floor is glassed in, and then you've got a couple of open areas. What's above the glassed in area?
Levels 2, 3, and 4 are a 3-story parking garage.
And is that for Northeast State?
It is.
Okay. And I see you have lighting on the in the garage area and around the facility, is that correct?
Correct. We have lighting within the parking garage, and we also have security cameras.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. We'll head back towards some classrooms. This is our IT office. So anyone who has IT needs on our campus, they will go in and see our IT technician.
Are they full-time?
They are part-time.
Okay, and if they have a need and need assistance at other times, what do they do?
Anything outside of the day hours that the part-time technician works or in the evening is a remote service from Blountville if that's something that we can't figure out and help with. Students can come up to us and ask us to assist them with making that contact to the individual, or we have a list of information out for them so they can contact the appropriate individual.
Okay, so these phone numbers are to help them contact the appropriate individual.
Correct.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
How many students are at this site this semester, and what would it be pre-COVID?
This semester, we have 178. As an example of what that looked like before the pandemic, we had 567 last year in the fall.
Okay, thank you.
This is an example of our largest classroom. And if you notice in the back, there are 2 doors with emergency exit signs above them. We have quite a few rooms like that, and so we're able to get our students out very quickly if we need to evacuate.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to our labs. So biology lab will be first.
Now, I see that the water fountains are covered up. Is that because of the pandemic?
It is.
Okay, thank you.
This is our biology lab for our campus. Pre-pandemic, we would seat 16, and currently we seat 8.
So when you see 8, I know enrollment's down, but do you just open up more sections then as needed since you can't take as many in a single section?
We do. We monitor enrollments for our sections, and we would open more sections as needed.
Okay. And talk with me about the technology. Science programs use a lot of technology. How do you do technology planning for your science programs? Maybe something that's not a computer.
Something for a science program would go through that academic dean of science.
Is that a regular process?
It is. It's an annual process.
And is it the same process for you here at Johnson City as it would be for the main campus?
It is.
Okay, thank you very much.
Then we'll go this way. We'll go out through the biology prep room. So our lab assistants and instructors use this space.
So this equipment in here, we go through that same planning process. If something broke down and they needed to plan for it, they would go through that same planning process, and then if there was an emergency, they would just contact the academic dean about that, or what would be the normal process if there's an emergency need?
Typically, the instructor will come to the site director first, because we're the one that's closest to them, and then we'll go to the academic dean.
Okay, thank you. Let's talk a little bit about what are the primary educational programs that are offered at this site?
Primarily, we have Associate of Arts, Associate of Science, and for our business concentrations, we have accounting, management, and small business.
Okay. And within those programs, are the student learning outcomes the same for the Johnson City site as they are for all sites, or do they have their own student learning outcomes?
The student learning outcomes are the same regardless of site or modality. So if it's in Blountville or in Johnson City, it's exactly the same.
Okay, thank you. I had another question on that. The outcomes are the same. Are they assessed the same way? Or the student learning outcomes, are they assessed the same way through the regular planning process?
They would be.
Okay. And is that the same for administrative, not looking at student learning outcomes, but planning process? Do they have a separate planning process here, meaning they go through a different planning process than the main campus? Or is it one process and they go through the same planning process?
It would all be the same planning process.
Okay. And is that annual process?
It is.
Okay, thank you very much.
This is our chemistry lab. Typically, it seats 16 pre-pandemic. Currently, it seats 8 as well. And it has the same technology as all of our other classrooms and labs.
Thank you.
On this end of the building, we have adult education. So their office and classroom are in this
Let's go
space
in.
right here.
And because they have adult ed classes, then we also can do the testing here at this location too. To
So is
serve
that the
as
high set
community.
testing?
We do the HiSET testing in the testing center,
Okay,
and that's done at least once or twice a month.
okay. So they do the adult education classes here, and then they take the test down in the testing center?
Correct.
And I see from looking out the window, it looks like we're in downtown Johnson City.
We are.
And so, in addition to the break room, I'm assuming that there are other opportunities for students to get something to eat close by.
There are multiple restaurants right across the street downtown.
All right, wonderful. Thank you.
This is our Office of Inclusive Excellence. So our coordinator of Inclusive Excellence can use this office space when they are on campus. And our students were able to create a diversity tree with their handprints, as long as faculty, staff, and also the president were able to place their handprints on the wall.
Wonderful. Is this campus very diverse?
It is, we actually have the most diverse student population of any of the Northeast State campuses.
Wonderful. And is the Officer for Inclusive Excellence, was it a coordinator, is that correct?
It is.
And are they permanently placed here? Do they come on a rotational basis or as needed?
It's as needed.
Okay, all right, thank you very much.
Next up is our Veterans Center. So if you want to come on in, any service members, veterans, and family members are welcome to use our Veterans Center. It's very relaxed, quiet, and it's a good way to honor the service. If you look on this side, we have technology set up for our veterans, and they're able to do research and assignments while they're in the space.
And our,
Please, go ahead.
can I say we have 2 permanent full-time staff associated with that office and center, and they come here on a regular basis to meet with students, right?
We do.
And they're probably right now doing more Zoom with them, but they do come meet with them and show them where the center is
Correct.
when they have that initial intake with them.
Thank you. Now, I know,
This is our Learning Resource Center for the campus.
thank you. Hi,
Hello.
and what's your name?
My name is Amy Lippo. I'm one of the librarians here at Northeast State.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you for being with us. So tell us a little bit about the library. I see it's a digital library.
It is. It is.
And so how do students connect with resources or with are you permanently stationed at this location or?
We don't have a librarian permanently stationed here, but we do have a schedule of a librarian coming here to provide in-person assistance 6 to 7 times a semester.
Okay. And if I need help or I need to know what days those are when you're going to be down here, how do I find that out?
It's on the monthly calendar here at Johnson City, and it's also posted at the front of the room.
Okay,
So
wonderful.
students can look up there easily.
All right. And Amy, let's say that, I'm here, I've looked at the online learning resources, and I found there's a book that I want, and I'd like to have it delivered here. Is there a way that I can have the books delivered to
Yes,
the
there
campus?
is. The students can go to the online catalog and request delivery of
Okay.
items to be delivered here. If they have any problems with that, they can also get in contact with a library staff member who can help them get that requested and have that sent here.
Wonderful, thank you, Amy. And one other question. I'm a student, I'm struggling. It's not a day that a librarian's here, but I need help now. What are my options? How can I get help from a librarian?
It's easy to get in contact with the librarian through the library website.
Uh-huh.
Where we can provide assistance either in person or virtually
Mm-hmm.
through telephone, email, text message, online chat.
Wow. You do video chats as well if needed?
Yes, we can do video chat, we can do screen sharing if we need to.
Wonderful.
We can also do live or live or online appointments
Okay.
for scheduled meetings
Wonderful.
with students.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your help.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank
Okay.
you.
Uh-huh. We just met with Amy in the LRC, and she was talking about the library and getting access to librarians. What if a student comes to you or to Jim and says, I need help in the library? Can you help them, or what's the process?
We can. Typically, we would call over to the library to try to get them an immediate answer. If they need to set up an appointment through Zoom or anything like that, then we would definitely make sure that we showed them how to connect through Zoom.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
While we're talking, can you discuss a little bit about the academic calendars, the grading policies, refund calendars? How do students access those here, and are those the same, the policies the same for the students here as the main campus?
Yeah, I can answer that. All of our information is on our website. So we want all of our students to have equal access to that. They would just go to northeaststate.edu. They can pull up the academic calendar, they can pick up policies and procedures. All of our information is out there for all of our students.
Okay, thank you. Is the process the same, meaning for the main campus and for here with regard to written student complaints?
Yeah, we have an online complaint form. We feel like that's better for students. That way they don't have to really talk to someone directly and share that. They can file that complaint, and then it's going to go to the correct person for that complaint, and it's an online form, and all students have access to that 24/7.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay.
Right. Our next area will be student services.
All right. Hi, this is my area down this hallway, so please come with me.
So this is the student services area?
Yes. This is a small waiting area or lobby in case we have students in our offices. They can wait for us out here. In this office here is Sheila Bray. She is a person that works 3 days in Elizabeth and 2 in Johnson City. But she helps students with financial aid, admissions, a lot of different things, but she's more of a generalist. And through here is my office. So if students have any questions about student services and how to access different things, they would be directed to come to me, okay? So I can sit here and I can meet with them. We've got the plexiglass. Got a table over there, just one chair because of COVID, but they have a comfortable place they can go and still stay socially distanced from us. But this is where
All right, and so that you help students with different types of problems, and then I assume that if they have, for example, a question that you can't answer, then
Right.
you connect with somebody at the main campus or
Yes.
wherever?
Yeah, prior to moving down here to Johnson City, I had 13 years of experience on the Blunkville campus in our campus information center. So part of my job there was to know a little bit about everything.
Okay,
So I have really good relationships with all the folks within our IE Student Success Division. And if I can't answer the question, I know exactly who to call or who to put that student in contact with. Yes.
okay. And you're permanently stationed at this
Yes,
campus?
I'm here Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. So this is the backside of the administrative offices?
It is.
Okay.
This is the office for our fiscal services coordinator.
Hi,
How are you?
doing fine. And are you permanently placed here at this site?
I am.
And what's your role here?
I take care of the students, whatever they need. If they need to pay money, I can take their money. I can set up their payment plans. I can put money on their print accounts.
So anything that has to do with their payments or balances, et
Yes.
cetera, you take care of that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can take care of all that for them. And promise to pay, things, Tennessee Reconnect, all that stuff we can take care of to help the students get where they need to be.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So as we're wrapping up the tour, there are a couple of other questions that I wanted to ask you. One was about the qualifications for the administrative and academic officers. Are they different for this campus than the main campus?
No, they are the same regardless of what location an individual works on.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. And this is site, Northeast State at Johnson City. Does it have its own budget? Is it integrated? Is it decentralized?
So it would be decentralized. Northeast State at Johnson City has an operations fund for our site, but we have various offices and departments throughout the campus,
Mhm.
and those are funded through their divisions.
Okay, all right.
So like when I come for counseling, I'm using my own travel funds. If we have an event or something that we're gonna hold, we're all gonna use that out of our own budgets.
Okay. So like when Student Life does events down here, that comes out of the
Student life
the
budget.
Student Life funds,
Sure, they
et
have
cetera.
funds for all the campuses to provide
And I also have
activities.
my own budget as well for
Okay.
enrollment and different things like that.
Wonderful. I think that's all of my questions. I do want to go up and see the parking garage, but as we end, are there any questions I didn't ask that you would have expected, or something that you want to share about Northeast State at Johnson City?
I believe so.
I hit them all? Okay, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Jennifer, if you don't mind, let's go up to the garage.
Of course.
Do we need to
Do we need to redo the garage?
do we need to do it? Jennifer, behind you, I see, is this the calendar that Amy Lippo was talking about in the LRC, about the monthly calendar that shows when people are going to meet here?
It is. So we create one for the Johnson City site. It pulls academic calendar dates, and then also we have the dates of visits from various departments for our campus, so our students are aware.
And is this the COVID sign-in and how they do their sign-in for COVID?
It is.
Okay, thank you.
So behind you, you'll see all of the signage that our students will need wearing and carrying so that they ensure that they have their face coverings on before they come onto campus. All of the sign-in information. And then coming back around, you'll notice the security cameras. Our parking garage has security cameras all throughout that our police officers monitor for us, and an emergency call station.
And I see there's ample lighting.
Correct.
Now, I know there are very few cars. This is the third floor, and I believe from where I park, there are more cars on the second floor.
Correct.
But I would suspect that this has been the limited number of people that are on campus, because as we went through the campus, there were not any classes. That's probably because it's Friday, and if I remember right, most of the classes are Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday.
They are, and our classes for Friday are already over for the day.
Okay, and then the pandemic, as you said, has limited the number of students that are physically taking courses on this campus as
Correct.
well. Amy, thank you so much for the tour. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.